just recorded a whole video and the mic wasn't on, so I am glad that the mic is on and I'm back. Well, it is Colorado, Nebraska week. I have a lot of thoughts, but you know what? This is going to come down to good old-fashioned football. I'm recording this video early in the week because I don't think it's going to change. So by the time you see this, it should be Thursday, and my opinions will have not changed from the start of the week to when this day happens, because I'm not going to go back and watch film. I'm not going to go back and watch certain things over and over and over to see if I can change my opinion, because I don't believe in watching film over and over unless you have a trained eye to watch film. I don't believe in that, because what ends up happening is the more you watch film, the more you start to see what you want to see, and then your opinions start to change because your mind has convinced you you're seeing something different. We see this happen all the time in football games. If you slow something down and if you do something a certain way, it's going to start to look how you want it to look. So this is my prediction for Colorado and Nebraska. Take it or leave it, but this is how I'm feeling and this is what I'm thinking. And you know what? Let's just get into this video. So in my personal opinion, this is the video of styles making fights. I think everything Colorado does well. I think Nebraska has a counter attack to that. I think Nebraska runs the ball very well. I think their offensive line is solid. And I also think, and I know that some people might not feel this way, but their defensive line is phenomenal and their linebackers are good. And so whenever you're facing a good team that has a good front seven and you're facing a team that can run the ball, what that means is they can maintain the time of possession, which I think Nebraska should do. And that means that they are able to put pressure on the quarterback. And I think whenever you're able to put pressure on a quarterback and you're able to run the ball, football will tell you that that is a sign of success. And so I'm not going to get in who I think is going to win this game yet. I'll do that at the very end. But what I am going to say are three things that I'm looking for this weekend, because I think it matters and I think it's something we need to consider. So the first thing I'm going to say is time of possession. I think Nebraska is going to dominate time of possession if they come out and run the ball, which I think that they will. I know a lot of CU fans will say, we have Travis Hunter, we have Shedeur Sanders. You are absolutely right. We do have those two guys. But you know what? We had those two guys last year. And those two guys last year were not enough to make a difference whenever we were facing a really good team. And so some of you will argue Colorado's a good team. You can be a good team, but when you come up against a good team and you're a good team, you have to kind of figure out good and bad against different things. I'm not saying Colorado is a bad team. I think two things can be true. I think Colorado can be a good team and Nebraska can be a good team, but I think Nebraska can have better tools and more all of around a better team that will make them a good team. That is why when people have the argument and they say, oh, well, Colorado's going to win because of Travis Hunter and Shedeur, usually the counter argument is Nebraska is going to game plan this game well. And I think that matters because styles make fights. If you have knockout punching ability, but I have the ability to not be in range where you can use your knockout punching ability, what does your knockout ability matter? So again, my first thing that I'm going to be focused on is time of possession. We saw what North Dakota State did with time of possession. North Dakota State almost won that game. So no matter how much you go look back at the old game, no matter how much you go look back and try to make a good argument for whatever, no, North Dakota State almost beat Colorado. That is a fact. It just is what it is. And so to me, one of their advantages that they had was time of possession. The second thing I think is going to be key too is seeing how loud Nebraska is and how that impacts Colorado as a team. Nebraska got to play at home last week. So because they didn't have to travel anywhere, they've been at home. They already know the crowd noise. The question is, I don't know if Colorado is going to be prepared for the crowd. Not saying two won't be ready for the crowd. I very much believe that Shedeur is going to be ready for the crowd. But when you have a new team and new guys working together and you need to communicate and you need to be disciplined and you need to understand each other and you need to do all of these things that you're going to have to do when you go on the road, Colorado's going to have to do those things. And so I'm very curious to see how the crowd noise impacts Colorado and how it impacts their ability to get things going. I think the crowd noise might be the underrated option here, because I know we all say yeah, they're going on the road, but I don't think people realize how loud it's actually going to be in Nebraska. Because listen, Nebraska shows up for their volleyball teams and they're loud for them. So I can only imagine how loud it's going to be on Saturday. The other thing I'm going to be looking for, and I think this is pretty obvious, it is going to be, can we stop the run? Can we positively stop the run? So I think that North Dakota State averaged 2.9 yards a carry on their on run plays. Very curious to see how Colorado is going to stop the run. Because if Colorado can't stop the run, none of this matters anyway, and they're going to be in trouble. And so I'm curious to see how Colorado stops the run. I will also say, I think Nebraska is going to average more than 3 yards a carry, but that is going to be their game plan. They have a young quarterback, and that's how they're going to win this game, is to run the ball. And so I can't think that Matt Rhule is going to go away from the run just because he has Dylan Raiola. That won't be the game plan. And like I said before, this is what happens when you have a solid team, meaning you have a quarterback that Dylan Raiola is good. No one can say he's not good, but also they're going to utilize their run and they're going to have a balanced offense. And the balanced offense is what concerns me about Colorado. So now that I've said all of that, it should be no secret to you who I'm picking in this game. I'm picking Nebraska to win in this game. I'm picking Nebraska because I think that they are prepared for this moment. It's at home for them. I think that crowd noise is going to be an issue, and I think the run game and the offensive line and the defensive line is going to be a problem. So I'm picking Nebraska to win this game. I will say if Colorado wins this game, it is going to be because they could get off of the field on third down and their offense kept drives alive on third down. And so that's something that I think is going to be super important to kind of look at third down scenarios. Is Colorado able to get Nebraska off the field on third down? And is Colorado able to convert against Nebraska on third down? Another thing I will say that will impact this game if Colorado is able to win this game is it's going to be Livingston's ability to make adjustments on defense. Here's why I'm saying this. I don't think Colorado did a good job making in-game adjustments. Colorado made great adjustments at halftime. It seems, based on statistics, I have other feelings about that, but we'll leave them where they're at. But I didn't love their in-game adjustments. And I think whenever you're playing a team on the road and you're playing a team that has a lot of different ways that they can beat you, you have to be ready to make adjustments and you have to be ready to go. And I don't know if Livingston is going to be able to make those adjustments. And so if he can make good in-game adjustments, I think that bodes well for Colorado. But if he can't make those in-game adjustments, it might be a long night. The last thing I just want to say is Jordan Seaton. Jordan Seaton is a freshman. Yes, he played well last game. We have to give it to him. He played phenomenal. Good for him. He was rated very high. He had a great game. However, I expect Nebraska to challenge Jordan Seaton with that defensive line. I think part of Nebraska's game plan is going to be to challenge Jordan Seaton and to see how Colorado's offensive line reacts to the things that the defensive line is doing. Like we always say, like we've been saying all offseason, this is going to come down to if Colorado can work together, if they can communicate well, if they can stay disciplined, and if they can stop the run. These things will not change throughout the year. So this is going to be their first test to see if they can do it. I am sticking with Nebraska. I think Nebraska is going to win this game. I don't want to give a score prediction because I don't believe in giving score predictions, but I do think that Nebraska is going to win this football game. And if Colorado wins this football game, I'm going to be honest, I would be a little bit surprised unless they did the things that I called out here. If they're able to stop the run and they're able to make this game an ugly game, I like Colorado's chances in an ugly game. However, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this plays out. Just like the Texas-Michigan game, this is going to be a good football game to see how teams game plan, what the plan is, how people adjust, what happens in the ebbs and flows of the game. So I'm just looking forward to see it as a football fan. So you know what? The season's here. This is what we've all been waiting for. It is week 2. Let's see what happens.